Good morning, Dana.
Good morning, Wendy. Welcome, everyone.
Are you recording? I fucked up your thing. Sorry, I gotta go for a smoke.
That is just my husband, everybody. Since we are live, he, has to play that little game and do his thing. And you might see that my animals are in the background as well. I apologize for that, but it is what it is. So now he's in bed.
Yeah.
So how is everybody this morning? It is what? A rainy morning on a Thursday morning. It's garbage day. It is what it is. It's just that, I don't know, what happened to summer?
I don't know, bringing out my fall colors. Was unsure, hoping a little ray of sunshine today. I don't know, it's like literally feels like fall. I'm really hoping not, because the garden still needs to grow and it's just too early.
Yeah, it's too early.
Too early.
And I actually heard a nasty rumor that it's supposed to be a really nasty winter. So whoever started that rumor, I'm just going to say no.
I guess we have to, I guess the old wives' tale is that you look to see where the bees have their hives, right? And if they're up high or down low, and or how many, we've noticed an increase of mice. So I don't know whether that means that they're scurrying to get cover. I don't know. There's lots of little old, I'll have to look that up in the almanac.
Oh yeah, actually, I haven't seen any mice this year, but I know that there was a couple of beehives that we've run into, not literally run into, but they got scared and attacked me. But they were down low, like at the base of our garage doors and stuff like that, where I thought that they were up high. But that would mean that I guess they're thinking it's going to be not that bad. So
it's hard to say. We've been moving rocks and doing some landscaping, and there's been lots of beehives underneath the rocks. So I'm not sure what that means. I'll have to look that up today.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to find out. So I know we're both kind of ramping up and getting ready for September. And today I think I wanted to really, just kind of remind people or let people know a little bit about what I do specifically. So I don't know, I got up early this morning. I had no coffee in the house. So I said, to heck with it. I just continued fasting. And I thought I'd do my live blood. And then I just set everything up, and I have it actually just set up right here. This is why you guys are seeing me in my kitchen dining room area as opposed to my office. And my phone might die, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And so I'll show you guys exactly a little bit about what's going on. I know, getting back to the basics and understanding why we do what we do, and understand a little bit, because I believe that seeing is believing, and that's kind of like the little hashtag I have for live blood analysis. So, first and foremost, when I have people come in to do live blood analysis, I ask them to be fasting, preferably, 5 hours, 3 hours in the very least, and making sure that they take all their prescription medicines and, hydrating with water as best I can, but not coffee, not food or anything else, because we do see that within the blood itself. And I was scrolling through Facebook last night, and I came across a couple of posts about live blood analysis, because I follow all that stuff. And, and it really does come down to just basically cleaning ourselves up, getting back to being alkaline for a lot of things. And knowing that and seeing that within my own blood this morning was really kind of cool. So I guess I've kind of taken over to this morning, Dana. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, no. You know me. I find this so fascinating, and I find it really important, as well as, like, say, thermography or any bioenergetic testing or something to give you an overview of where you're at. Like, blood work is really great, and it's so important to have those annual or triannual checkups with your doctor, but to understand from an aspect of nutrition stress, all those wonderful, beautiful things that you can see in the cellular activity. I think it's really important, and it plays a huge role. So I know that in speaking to a lot of my clients who are just ramping up to get their thermography done, they are wanting to see how they've handled their stress. Where's the best bang for the buck? And I think that's the same as when you're looking at live blood. You're looking at, okay, I need to start over. And this is, and it's funny, you know, I view September 1st as being our new year.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, this whole year has gone to shit it's gone to hell in a handbasket. And it's sort of, you know, in that whole, because we all had big plans for 2020, and then everyone got stalled. In travel, installed in, you know, just the overuse of computers and that. So to me, live blood is super important, and I am super excited to see what you have to show this morning and talk about. So take it away. Absolutely. I love it.
So a little bit of background. I mean, I am one, if you don't know, that does like to take a lot of supplements. It's not that I like to take them, but I feel more secure with my own diet, my own process, and everything else. So I take a product that's called Juice Plus, and it is a whole foods product that is basically fruit and vegetables that are ground up, juiced up, and then dried into a powder. So it's basically just whole foods, nothing else. I take a couple of different omega 3 supplements as well. So the Juice Plus actually has an omega 3 supplement. I also take an evening primrose and a flaxseed with the moon cycles for hormonal balance. What else do I take? I take a basic tab. So I'm going to talk about that in a little bit with regards to that. I take a product also called Female Tonic, which is good for PMS balancing, just hormonal balancing again, because as you may have been following or whatever, I am going through a lot of hormonal issues, including sleepless nights, hot flashes, all these different things. What else do I take? I take, I think that I can't think of anything else at the moment, but I think it's enough anyways throughout the day. So I take all those products, and yesterday I went out fishing with my husband, spent the day on the lake, doing some wonderful, quality time, me time out in nature, stress relieving, the whole bit. Except for when I fell off the boat, but that was a totally different story. Got wet. But really, a really nice stressful day. I fell off right off of my eating protocols, and had chips and a chocolate bar, and, was really just my whole way of eating went out the door. So I thought it would be really interesting to see what my blood looked like this morning, just from the simple fact that, because for the most part, I've been eating fairly clean, no sugar, yes, carbs, but complex carbs, just because I noticed that it has a really big effect with my hot flashes. That's just me personally, though. If it works for other people, then you can try it out too and let us know. But for me, like I said, it really does help to decrease my hot flashes. But like I said, yesterday I had a really poor diet, although I was really stress-free. And yeah, so I woke up this morning and was very sore, first of all. My hands were a little bit swollen, and I was feeling really kind of tight. And it's not just because I'm 53 years old, but I think it was because of the fact that I was overdoing it physically for myself, but also taking in and the chips and the chocolate and all these different things. So I was expecting to see my blood to be, reflecting that as well too. So I'm going to switch my screen and show you guys a little bit about what it is that I am doing. So you'll see my puppy there in my clean house. I have my microscope set up right here. And essentially what I do is I take a drop of blood from my finger, I put it on the screen, And then I just, I put another slide on top of it, and then I just put it under here, under the lenses. And then I scroll that video over to my computer. When it comes up here, we can see the live also notice this. So when we look at the blood, we look at, let's see here, I can just focus in a little bit. These right here are like they're red blood cells. And the only job of a red blood cell basically is to transport oxygen from one part of the body to another. And we look at the shapes and the sizes and how they're sitting nicely in the milieu. So the milieu is this black plasma-like situation in behind. And that's basically what we call like the terrain or the milieu. And we look at that as well. So we look at the shapes and the sizes of the red blood cells. We see that the membrane around the red blood cell, if it is perfect circle, if it's like an oval, this one here is like an oval more. An oval one like this could be indicative of a hormonal issue. And I've already kind of explained to you guys that I am very hormonal these days, or lack thereof, or they're just imbalanced at this point. Up here in the corner, we look at and we see these little guys that are kind of floating around in the background. And these guys are called a few different names depending upon the theory and the you know, the school of thought with regards to it, but I call them protits, and this is my school of theory that has come through. And they are basically like teenage boys who devour everything. They're very hungry eaters, and they will, if the milieu in the background here is very dirty and there's a lot of debris and cellular junk hanging out in the milieu, these guys will eat it and they will upregulate and go into different forms, which could be very indicative towards a disease process. Now, I mean, this is very much dependent upon every, you know, it can switch out almost on a daily basis or even throughout the day. So if I was to eat right now, this the milieu would be very much a different picture at this point. It would be very much more congested and swampy and everything else. And this is why we ask people to not eat or try to fast as much as possible before they come in, so we can see a true picture, because it can switch very quickly, the milieu and the red blood cells and how they appear in the screen. Typically they live and die within about a 4-month period. So we, try to get a really good picture, and we ask clients to come back about every 3 to 4 months to get once I've given you protocols and we've looked at different ways of improving your situation, then we can definitely see a difference with regards to that. So again, here's something you'll see that the red blood cells are just floating through the milieu, just, because it's live blood. I mean, the blood is still kind of moving around on the screen. We've got a little bit of, I don't know if you can see this here, it's a little bit of fuzziness, a little bit of congestion there. This, because what I ate yesterday, I believe, Doritos, I found them actually because I haven't had Doritos for such a long time, that they were extremely greasy and fatty. So I'm seeing like undigested situations of fat going on, and there's some more congestion over here. And all of these red blood cells are actually telling me that I may be deficient in vitamin B and folic acid, because that's not one of the supplements I take. And as a vegetarian, I can lack vitamin B quite easily. There's another one here that is very much like a lemon drop situation, and they kind of link together, and we call this protein linkage. And if I was to see a ton of that all throughout the screen, it could be very indicative of a gut dysbiosis leading towards perhaps something like a leaky gut situation. Ooh, there's an interesting little guy. So I don't know if you can see, it's a little bacteria, or what they call it, colloid. And this is just, again, indicative of a toxic terrain or a very acidic terrain that is going to be, if I don't really work at bringing back the basic alkalinity of my body, then this is one of the little guys that can upregulate and go into different forms and show me that, you're well on your way to becoming very towards a disease process again. So that was kind of interesting. If I think that's one little guy is not going to make or break a situation, but it is, if I was to see a lot of situations like that, I would be definitely saying something like to really alkaline your body quite a bit. Now this little guy, I don't know if you can see him very well. He is something that I have seen. Oh, there's another one over there that I've seen on a lot of different slides and a lot of different people's bloods. And he is a bit of a controversy. There's another one up there too. We haven't really figured out what it is yet. And I'm thinking it has something to do with increased inflammation in the body. And because we seem to think that that's a little bit like that. Oh, look, there's a Pac-Man shaped one right there. I'll have to dive into my books and figure that one out. But even something like this, which looks like a kind of like a bullet or a donut, a bullseye kind of situation, that again is indicating towards B12, maybe even an iron deficiency situation. And there's a few of them you can kind of see. And when they're stacked up like this too, and conjoined like this is kind of a dehydration kind of situation. So I'm gonna just stop it there, because that's a heck of a lot of information for people to
that's a lot
absorb.
Yeah,
but that's basically kind of what I do. And it is, we go through the blood, we go through all these different indicators, we go through the dry blood, and then I set up protocols. Oh, do you hear me now? With
I hear you.
To,
I don't think you hear me.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. With regards to being able to clean up this picture to make it so your red blood cells are just nicely separated and floating in a sea of black, and we don't have all these other little artifacts and things going on within it. But that being said, I don't believe I've ever seen a perfect picture. I mean, nobody is perfect. Nobody is going to have I mean, I think there was one person perhaps when I was in the schooling that he was an organic farmer that, you know, never went out, didn't have any kind of electronics around his house, didn't have any kind of worries. You know, and he had this perfect blood. He'd always raised his own foods. He was probably off the grid, all these different situations. It's kind of impossible for most people to get to that point. But
I think so.
Sorry, what was that?
I said, I think so. I think it's hard for people to be absolute because it's just the way the environment is set up.
I'm not hearing you very well, love.
Sorry.
Anyway, so yeah, this day and age, and we all know that I have my toxic, my detox, my seasonal detox coming up, and it's something that obviously is looking like I definitely need to get into some really, really good deep clean eating. Sorry, my dog is about to bark at the neighbor dogs, and really, like I was telling you about that product I take. It's called Basic Tab. It's basically a calcium, potassium, electrolyte kind of balance of a tab that's really alkalining. And I'm not taking them as properly as I should be. So you should be taking them on an empty stomach with a little bit of warm water to help it get to the duodenum, to be absorbed properly, blah, 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 3 times a day. And really working at getting an alkalinity in my body. But I mean, Doritos and chocolate bars are not alkalining at all. So yeah. This is maybe why I'm seeing the blood the way it is today as well too.
Well, it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what, no, you can't hear me?
No, not too, I don't hear you very well, no. Maybe because I'm on my phone, I don't know, but my volume's
Let me try that.
up.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you barely, but it's not very loud. No, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm messing around with my things. So let me, yeah, headset. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you a little bit, but it's not very loud.
That's so weird. It's just the way,
Yeah.
maybe my internet today. So it'll be interesting to see what mine is when we do ours, and then compare it to my latest scan. So you can't hear me.
I can hear you a little bit. Yeah, comparing it to our latest scans. Yeah, that's what, I mean, it's the same with the thermography and the live blood. I mean, and I was saying that we would look at the live blood today, and I've taken quite a few pictures because I really want to, knowing where I was, really, get committed and do a very strict regime for the next couple of weeks, and then see what happens and take a look at the blood at that point and see if it really does help with like what I have oval sites, I have all those spicules and fiber, and I have congestion, I have the B12, the folic acid situation. I actually haven't not seen, I was just gonna say, I have not seen a white blood cell, but I just see one there now. But all the different shapes, and with the amount of Juice Plus that I'm taking in is probably helping quite a bit. But at the same time, we're always bombarded with free radicals, and free radicals are the things that change us. So we need those antioxidants, and the Juice Plus is something that really gives us a lot of that antioxidant protection as well. So without my Juice Plus, I can't imagine what my blood would actually look like at this point. But I mean, yesterday I was exposed to a lot of gasoline smells. Unfortunately, a lot of fire smoke. I don't know if that would make a big difference. Even though I was outside enjoying everything, you always are going to be involved, encompassed with all these toxins from all different areas, unfortunately. So it's time to do a detox.
Yeah,
it's time to, clean things up. It's time to really get focused coming into September, being this new year. It's a big deal. And I personally, from my perspective, have seen the end result of not taking care of ourselves and not really focusing in on a lot of the minor details, like keeping ourselves alkaline. And I know Dana as well too, from a point of inflammation and stress. And
Mm-hmm.
that inflammation, we think of it as a minor inconvenience on a day-to-day basis, but over the long term, over years and years of crazy amounts of inflammation, crazy amounts of toxicity in our body, it can make a big difference. And I know we're not
It
getting
does, yeah.
younger by any means. So
No,
yeah,
no.
this is
I
what I
think
wanted to talk about.
that's beautiful. I think it's a great, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, a little bit. It might be coming through on the video, so I can hear
So
you a little
it's
bit.
okay. It's super fascinating study, and it certainly gives you that really good, okay, where am I at? And I found that yesterday when I had done my scan for myself, still with those one cells that you had with the, I'll say they look, I can't remember what we had decided that they would be, right? It would be interesting to see where that's at with
Yeah.
in concern to me, because I had a lot of those. And how the liver stress or how toxicity is handling in that aspect, because I've done, I've been taking the Soul Life for most of the summer in comparison, so that's a lot of reestablishing gut flora and the foundation, and then that additional thyroid help, and to see, but I know that I'm not so hormonally everything has come to balance lately. So it's been really and just interesting, last 6 months to
Yeah.
really sort of review at things and see what we've done. I know that I still have heavy metals. So one, I need to get back into the foot detox and get that pulling out and increase my fumic and humic acids to enable or assist in that draw and pull, because the additional gas fumes from being around boats all summer and from chainsaw or from the fires, right? So it'll be an interesting. So I really hope that I can get in this week with you before I head off and start my clinics. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, most definitely. For those of people that are in the Sudbury area, we'll be starting up live blood sessions at Naturally Yours in Chelmsford in the mall at the health food store.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't set up some times yet, but I will be doing that. I'll be going in and talking to Kim next week and setting up some times and getting out to see people. And you were just talking about heavy metals. Heavy metals is one of those things that we can see heavy metal toxicity is something that we can see very directly within the live blood. And I just put my dry blood sample. We see it in a dry blood sample.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to do dry blood sample. So
yeah, we'll have to make sure that we do the one with you for sure to see how toxic, because you can actually see the heavy metal toxicity. I don't have any specifically. I'll just switch my screen really quickly. And if there was any kind of heavy metal toxicity, I would see a black outer kind of crust around, and it's very, very distinct about heavy metal toxicity for sure. And it's, one of those things that once we see it, we know what to do with it. And it can be very intense detoxification process. And this is not something that is just fixed by taking sugar out of your diet. It's something that can be quite intensive, but it's something that definitely can be fixed and can make a world of difference, because we hold so many heavy metals in our system.
Mm-hmm.
And anything from mercury to I can't even think all the different ones off the top of my head, but there are so many of them that can be so detrimental to our health on a long-term basis, because we hold these heavy metals in our fat, first of all, but in the fatty deposits in our brain, which is, there's theories with regards to that and dementia and Alzheimer's as we go into our older years. But we also see, I saw as a nurse in that community that dementia and Alzheimer's and a lot of these brain disorders are starting so much younger as well too.
They are.
It's not just like an 80-year-old situation.
Mm-hmm.
There was many that were my age, to be honest with you, and it was really, really scary. And I know there's a couple of examples of people in the healthcare field. There was one lady in particular, they might know who I'm talking about, but it happened so fast. She was actually working in the healthcare field herself, and and became a little bit disorientated and confused over for a couple of days. And by within about a week, she was so lost. She would go to work and she didn't know where she was. She didn't know who she was, and it was such a heartbreaking scenario. We ended up looking after her at the nursing home. But yeah, this is when we see and we know, we can actually understand it a little bit more, and we can start doing something about it. And that's what you and I do, basically, is giving people that knowledge and that ability to be able to change their trajectory of their health. And I think that's just a beautiful and wonderful thing that we can do for them.
Yeah, I think so. And it's those opportunities of change and getting, and, when it comes to bigger, it's being able to advise them on the correct tests or the correct questions to ask their medical doctors, or getting them to focus on something a little bit smaller than the big picture of things. Because when you start looking at the big picture of things, it becomes so confusing and overwhelming, and you really feel defeated.
Yeah,
and we have to stop doing that to ourselves, right? That whole defeating aspect. So
and looking at more than just Band-Aid effects as well too. So bringing it down to the basic level, and that's from our perspective as holistic nutritionists and holistic providers, that we break it down. We bring it down to that basic unit and that root cause. And if your body is acidic, you're allowing the disease process to flourish at that point. If your body is inflamed, you're allowing the disease process to take hold and just run. And if we bring it down to the fact that we decrease inflammation, we alkaline our body, and do the things that we need to do from a base level and work up from there, it kind of almost takes care of itself.
Yeah,
which is the amazing, magical part of it. But everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people just want to have that Band-Aid solution that's going to, take away the inflammation right now, pop an ibuprofen and away you go, kind of thing. But
right.
I know that my aches and pains are not going to get any better unless I deal with the base level, which is that inflammation, that, the foods that I'm taking in, the alkalinity in my body, and really cleaning things up from the blood level, because that's your river of life, basically.
It is. Amen to that. Yep. Exactly. Well, super fascinating. So, and then when are you in Haileybury again?
I'm going up to Haileybury on September 11th and 12th. So hopefully I'll be able to do the detox, ionic foot detox on the Friday, so the 11th. And then doing a clinic on nutritional consults, weight loss, counseling, live blood analysis, and all these wonderful things on the Saturday. And I mean,
nice.
My times are very flexible if you aren't able to come and see me on the Saturday itself. I have family that I stay with up there, so I can definitely hang out until the Sunday, or even, work something in on the Friday. It really is quite flexible at this point, and I will definitely be getting a link set up very shortly so people can book in and get on the list for that.
That being said, I am in Haileybury on September. Well, this is my first week schedule on the 4th. I'm in Sault Ste. Marie on the 3rd. I'm in North Bay on the 5th. So, that Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So, I mean, if you're looking to do thermography, then just give me a call, and we can go, or just go to thermography.medicalclinic.com and be able to get in and book some time. So I can do in Haileybury, I've got some times available for thermography, but if you're interested in doing the ion foot detox, then let's no problem. Let's get in there and do that and see how you are going to be detoxing and start that whole process, right? And do some nutritional and then in North Bay, I do have 11 and 12 o'clock available. So on
Nice.
the 5th. So it's very
Nice.
nice.
And yeah, so hopefully maybe this week we can really dive into exactly what thermography is as well, you know, with examples and
Mhm.
maybe some shots and different things like that. So people actually know, because I have a hard time actually explaining it, but I know because you're the expert and the trained professional with regards to it, you can definitely explain a lot more. And then people can actually see what it is, how it can help you, why you need to do it, and how, you know, put it all together with the live blood analysis and, you know, your nutritional consults and different things to get a very good picture of who and what you are and what direction you need to go in. And you're
Mhm.
not just throwing spaghetti against the wall and hoping that it sticks kind of thing. You're
Mhm.
really focusing in on very specifics within your system and using these modalities to be able to you know, have that baseline, see how you're doing, where you're going. I know, is it every 6 months, the thermography?
No, well, no, baseline is set at 6 months. If you're at high risk, then we do 3 to 6 months. But
Okay.
normally it's yearly. It's just part of that that program, that review. If we're looking for something abdominally, then sure, then or breast health, then we want to monitor that. But it's a perfect. We use it as more of a
Okay.
yearly follow-up or a yearly program to kind of set the base, and that's where using live blood and following a program that, or like the, you know, like like what you have or like what I have when you're doing longer programs, then you can see the change. You can follow up on things. You can monitor your progress. And so I'm very, very excited about, you know, those types of opportunities for people. And that's what it is it's opportunities for women to make some great changes, to visualize their health, right, live through either modality or both modalities. And it just gives everybody the opportunity to go, okay, what do I really need to focus on? Where am I going to start first?
Mm-hmm.
And then that whole gradual process of understanding and honoring the body and its healing process. So
Yeah. Yep. That's true. And I personally think that, and I think I've probably done 1,000 different posts about this in different words, but the body itself has the healing capabilities built in. I mean, we weren't given these machines and these shells and just left to, you know, the elements, so to say, but we have the capability within ourselves to be able to heal ourselves. But we have to also ignite that process as well too. So it can't just happen if we're going to be sitting on the couches and, you know, eating Doritos and, you know, smoking and you know, and stressing about everything in life. We have to do the work. But once we put those processes into place, the things that can happen to the body is going to, you know, and bring it to the best that the body can actually be. If there's damage done, I mean, that's obvious that, you know, obviously some things are not going to be able to be fixable, but I mean, the things that you can do with the healing capabilities of the body,
mhm.
once you put the proper structures in place, the clean eating, the mindfulness, the stress relieving techniques, the exercise, the clean, fresh waters, getting away from electronics, all these different things that potentially could be quite harmful, that are hard to get away from, but you know, we have to do our very best. And if we want to live into our 80s and 90s and still have all our functions of our body
Mhm.
working properly at that point, and not having to worry about, you know, visiting the doctor twice a week and, you know, having handfuls of pills and or being in a wheelchair or being a burden to our families, or,
Right,
you know,
right.
or there's so many different potentials that could happen as the body ages. And we haven't found the magic elixir, the fountain of youth yet, but every body ages. And I'm not just talking about older people, I'm talking about people in their 20s and 30s, not realizing that the habits that they're encompassing and taking on right now are going to be very much expressed as they get older. Like the body can only take so much.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So I think I've talked a lot already. So I
That's
think maybe
okay.
we'll call it a quits there. Hopefully this is going to be helpful for anybody. If it's only just confused you more, please reach out. Connect with Dana and myself. We can definitely fill in the gaps for you with regards to, I've just given you actually a basic overview of live blood analysis. And even then, like I said, I may have just confused you more than anything. Not my intent, but if you have questions, please reach out. I am more than happy to help you. Answer any kind of questions. We can definitely set up an appointment out in Chelmsford here at Naturally Yours at the health food store, and you can get all your health food goodies and supplements and things that you might need from Kim. She's an amazing store owner, and she does her own she has her own practice with hair mineral analysis as well. So something that is another one of those modalities out there that really does help us set a baseline and see where we're at and where we need to be. So, yeah.
I love it. Wonderful. I love it. Good for you. I think it's amazing. So,
Yeah.
Well, if
this
you
is
have
the kind of stuff that we just live for.
Yeah, exactly. So if you have questions, contact Wendy. If you have questions, I can answer a lot as well. Please, I hope you enjoyed today's broadcast, and please join us again. And I really love being part of this and just being able to connect with people online daily, or we're going to try and keep doing it daily, that it's going to coming up to fall. This summer's been fun, that's for sure. So it's been interesting, eh? So I thank everyone for joining us. Thank you, Wendy. Fantastic job today. I loved all the information that you gave. So
Okay. Thank you so much, Dana. We'll talk soon, okay?
yes, we will.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.